How far in do I go?
Not far, just enough to get a sample. So just so the cotton gets into your nostril. Have you done a rapid test before or anything like
I've
that?
done, you know,
That type of test?
I'm not to myself. Okay. So I go around my nose, not my throat.
Nose only.
Okay.
Perfect.
1, 2. Looks kind of gross there on this cap.
I know it is gross. Alright.
Okay.
Perfect. Alright. Throw it in there. So, in terms of the results, we only contact you if it's a positive.
Okay.
If it's a negative, we won't call you or anything. You just go on to the website. It's linked to your health card. Government website, and then it'll show you results in about 24 to 48 hours.
Okay, so what is the website?
I'm going to give it to you.
Oh, okay.
In terms of if you are positive, you're isolating for the next 14 days.
14 days.
Regardless if you have symptoms, if it comes back negative, wait until you feel better before you unisolate. You should still isolate until you're 100% better. If you've been exposed, you're still isolating for the 14 days, even if you get a negative result.
Okay.
Okay? So 14 days from exposure.
Okay. So my daughter had it and came to visit my husband, and so I wasn't home when she was home, but anyways, so
it's up to you. If your husband tests positive or if your daughter tested positive and you've been in any type of contact with her,
okay,
you're isolating from the day of exposure.
Okay.
Regardless of what the result is.
Okay. Thank you. You stay healthy. Thank you. Bye. It's negative 20 out there. Well, it's 7:15. It was for 7:30 or something like that. No, it was for 7:45, but I'm here. Oh, that's why I can't find my place for my card. It goes in beside you. Yes. Hello. Good morning. Well, I've had all these COVID symptoms. I've had this cough. Well, not really a cough, but my head has felt yucky. Sorry, I can't pay attention to you because I have to drive. But you can stay there. Just try not to fall on the floor, okay? Now I need my mittens back on. Anyway, I didn't have any mucus or any kind of that, and my cough was just wasn't much there to cough. But I had butter last night. I had butter on my Brussels sprouts. I thought butter was going to be fine, but now I've got all the congestion and my cough is worse. Yeah, you might want to get back from the phone, eh? I can make all these piggy noises now. I couldn't make them before. Wow, the sun is going to rise. How nice. How nice. So anyway, Christmas is really not happening this year. Today is Thursday. The day before is Thanksgiving. It's Christmas Eve. I was going to buy a turkey this week and, do it all up and pick up our son and have him over and anyway, blah, 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 that we were going to have Christmas. I'm so glad I got all of those gifts for the people. Remember, our church, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, is combining with the community to do projects. And one project was to give stockings of goodies of items, not foods, to all the residents of a nursing home or people that didn't have any family. Nobody would come to see them on Christmas. So, don't stop, don't pass go, don't stop at, there's a phrase I was trying to think of. Anyway, gotta go straight home. Can't look at anything. It negative 19 last night, which negative 20 I think is 0 Fahrenheit. So it's close, and it's pretty darn cold in my car. The windshield is still not completely defrosted, and my windshield washer fluid is frozen. How is that possible? I just bought it the other day. Maybe they were getting rid of their summer supply, and I, in my whatever, didn't know. My toes are freezing. But my mittens, you like my mittens? They're keeping my hands warm. Now I'm getting hot, but my hands are cold. Anyway, so Willem got tested yesterday. He had to drive an hour away to get tested. And then he brought the test home. He had to do it to himself, and then he had to phone around to find where he could drop it off. Like, the testing is, at least she took it back. Like, it's easier if you go to a nursing home or something, but you can't go in there if you've got symptoms. Like, that would be, like, terrible. Anyway, so I've been sort of dragging around lately. Not all the time. Sometimes I'm alright. I may have just a cold. And I feel kind of bad imagining that I have COVID when people out there really have COVID. But this Omicron, it doesn't seem to be as bad. It's not so bad, but I'm not sure of what happens when Delta arrives with the Omicron. Like, they're not really together. My goodness, there's a lot of traffic there now. 7:45. My appointment was for 7:45. So good morning. Hello, how are you today? A little distracted here with, you know, driving. Driving can be so distracting, don't you think? I'm always afraid of driving once it's low light, like even in the early morning or the late evening. It's so pretty out there. It's really a beautiful day. I love nature. You know, you know, like seeing that tall yellow grass out there, I just wanna hold it. I just wanna cut it and wrap up in it, or just go and nestle into it. I think I managed pretty well in Vancouver, cut off from all my nature. I was just a person again. People sure have some strange ways of living out there. They've got these fancy coats now that cost $2,500, and they have this red thing on them, and I guess it's the big deal to have one. And in Vancouver, where it doesn't even get cold, people are, you know, in New England, I think this is really getting pretty. I think the sun is turning the tops of the trees pink. I would show you, but that would necessitate distracted driving, and I wouldn't want to do that. I used to do it all the time, but that was before that distracted driving was a thing, or that cell phones were a thing. You know, I was making videos, is it 14 years ago? It's kind of neat. I really love my connection with you guys. You guys are my Christmas. I don't have a tree yet. It's down under the hobbit hole, down under the deck. And it's looking really pink. You know, even if I did show you, it doesn't turn up. Surprising, it's so pink. Like, it's really pink. And here comes the sun. It's quite orange over there. Oh, you can see it. You can't see the sun, but you can see what the sun does to me. My hair's getting really long, isn't it? But I should really cut 2 inches off, because it's one thickness, and then you get to this spot, and all of a sudden it's not thick anywhere. But you know what? My hair is now so small, it's like an inch. Each braid is like an inch thick. used to be each braid was like 2 inches thick. Oh, there's the sun. Every time I cough, it hurts my head, right? Good morning, Tyler. How are you this morning? Is it frosty where you are? Negative 19. Whew. 9 and 9 is 8. So it's 38. 32. That can't be right because if it's negative 18, 8 negative 16, 16 from 32 or 32 degrees 16 is 4. So you'd think it was 4 degrees, but then if it gets to be negative 19, 9 is 18, so 8, 3, then it's like 6 degrees. So that can't be right. But Fahrenheit it's 0. So if it was negative 20, 20 and 20 is 40, 32, no, so then it's up to 8 degrees. That's not, so my thing when it's negative is different. 20, take away 20 is 0. No, 20, I don't know how you do it. It always was you double it and add 32. So you double negative 20, so negative 20 plus negative 20 is negative 40. Add 32, and then you're at negative 6. That's wrong, isn't it? Because negative 20 is 0 Fahrenheit. You can figure it out, and you can tell me how to do it. So, guess what? I've been working on my loom. It's taken me a few years. It's really been a while. I don't remember when I took the warp off of my big loom. Oh, I know. Yeah, I was making, I made a reed brushes from the lake. I made a rush, oh, here comes the red. Pink sky is pinker. You usually see pink sky like this in the morning. And the sun is only half a sun behind me. It's yellow, orange. I know. What does it do telling you? A picture's worth 1,000 words. So you didn't have to jab it way up into your forehead. That was really cool. Go around 5 times up there. And nothing in the throat. Gee, I could have brushed my teeth. My oxymel. I didn't know if my wouldn't show. So 14 days from the day of exposure. 14 days. I've never heard of tatting. Oh, look how bright the sunshine is. I'm up over the top. It's 7:48. 7:48. The sun has decided to rise. And unlike usual, sunny skies, sleeps in the morning. You know, I like it when it gets sunny out at 3 in the morning. It doesn't know when to rise. It closes its weary eyes upon the day. Look at him yawning. He throws his morning hours away. But you will be pleased to know sunny skies hasn't a friend. Sunny skies weeps in the evening. Doesn't much matter why. I guess he just has to cry from time to time. Everyone's leaving. Sunny skies has a friend. Sunny skies lost all his friends. I don't know the words of that. But you will be pleased to know. Sunny skies hasn't a friend. I love this. Everybody has to go in. That's because it. And he's not ready to go to sleep yet. He's still up when people go outside. A nice river. Oh, you're back. Hello. Nice to see you again. Look at that. One person and 3 thumbs up. Bless our hearts. Nice to be outside. I haven't been out for a while. We were exposed, well, Sunday is when we found out my daughter tested positive. And she'd been at the house the day before, and I hadn't seen her, but I had been with Willem, who had seen her. And so, if he was exposed, then I was exposed from him, right? But I'm going to do another one. And I got my warp on the loom yesterday. I finished it. I was going to weave ties, and I was going to cut his suit jackets up into strips and make it. I visited. Oh, hello, you're back, but we haven't. No time has changed. Oh, look, it is going up all these minutes, so maybe it has been recording all this time. Isn't that interesting? Who knows? There's my teepee. Pull over. That would be so cool if you could see. Iffy out there. And this is where it's not a good thing. And then behind it over there, that's the it was just the frame of it, and I wove it into a taking it all off yet. Fence, but you know, as with most things, it fell down. Believe I, sometimes that's behind alders, I think, is on the other side. Thing growing here down. So here's the other entrance. And this goes, oh, look, the deer have come through here. Look at the deer, all the weather, the rain, and yet it's open on one side. The back of it houses all my, look at this, got an extra hole in there. Hammering at it, I guess. Look, you're back! What are we doing? We're at 44. 33, 44 teepee, and then alder teepee, which is along the moat, around the moat in the alders. And then there's Iceberg Island, Iceberg teepee, which is the little teepee. It's very small. It's just a little sheltered, sun-sheltered spot to sit beside Iceberg Pond. And then, so Sedge Meadow, Horseshoe Island, Alder, Iceberg, and then I have one at the end of Fiddlehead Pond. Now, long ago, I had another one there that had Christmas lights all around. It was very nice. I liked that. I'm not sure why I moved it. Anyway, we did. And then this one by the house. This is in the perennial slope. It's, I'll show you. Come on, turn around. There we go. Open this. So there it is. And all those beautiful, big, lovely stairs from the house go to the teepee. Yes, things are a little weird over here sometimes. This is a nice bush. It's called, I forgot. So I'm trying to put a better front door on there, but it's pretty wide. I should probably put another pole in there, make it narrower. But now I have to make some kind of a door to go over it. I'll have to figure that one out. Anyway, this is the Teacup Trail. Some teacups are doing well. Some are showing the signs of age. The weather changes everything, and gravity has its pull. This one right here has lost its cup. I think it fell off right there somewhere. That has also lost its cup, and there's another one leaning, which is not even put in the ground. And there's one with just a cup but no saucer. My little grandson tells me, you know, I have to fix these. Where's the saucer? Where's the cup? The cup fell down. And then there's a whole line of them that go down there. Well, thank you for coming along. This has been very nice to have you with me as I came home from getting my my COVID test. That was interesting. You got to hear her giving me instructions. So now I'm back home, but you are my Christmas. Thank you very much for coming along, because you're all there are. I guess I could have a Zoom meeting with everybody. Maybe my husband could figure that out. Good old Willem. So what am I going to do today? Well, I should probably wrap some of those Christmas presents. I mean, because the reality is that Christmas is happening out there in the rest of the world. And these presents should be wrapped so that they can be, I could get the tree out. I'll go down and I'll get the tree out from the hobbit hole. And I'll bring it up and I'll put it up in the living room. Maybe we're back in the corner where my loom usually goes. But my loom, I pulled it right out into the middle of the room. I like it out there in the middle of the room. I feel like, haha, I'm in the middle of the room. I'm important. Maybe, I wasn't going to cut my father's ties. I've got all of his ties. I was going to take them and make them into a nice mat. I was going to make a rug out of them. But maybe I should cut them. Maybe you should open them all up and cut them. If I don't cut them, it'll be thick. If I do cut them, it would be thinner, and it would be... But you know, I'm always thinking, well, what if one day this thing will fall apart, and then you could still use the ties? If I cut them, I mean, that's sort of disrespectful to all of my father's very expensive ties. And we gave him ties for years. Anyway, I have this little heap of them. It's probably a bushel worth. Ugh, this car smells so bad. Look at that. We did it. We got COVID tested at 7:45 in the morning. So now I have this piece of paper she gave me to tell me what to do. You were tested for COVID. What you should know. What to do while you're waiting for your test results. Isolate yourself from others if you have COVID-19 symptoms. A known exposure to COVID-19 or have traveled outside of Canada in the last 14 days. Well, you see, I went to Vancouver. And I don't understand how that's not as bad as going to the United States or to another country. I mean, to me, it's another country. And they're now tightening all their restrictions. I think I might have gotten it over there. If I have it, maybe I don't have it. Maybe I just have cold. If you do not have symptoms, have not been exposed to COVID-19, or have not been advised to self-isolate, Continue physical distancing and monitor for symptoms while you wait for results. Well, you can't get a test if you have no symptoms or if you've not been exposed. They won't let you. Maybe there's a dearth of them, but we started looking for tests on Sunday after we heard our daughter was positive. And it's now Thursday and I got tested. Willem got tested yesterday. So Wednesday, so Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So it's not like you can just go and test yourself quickly. This is not the rapid test, right? If you do a rapid test, I think if you're positive, if it shows up positive, then you have it. If it's maybe there's false positives, but I think that might be rare. But if you show up negative, it doesn't mean that you don't have it. It just means that your body is not full enough of the virus yet or something like that. So what to do if your test results are negative and you had a known exposure to COVID? Continue to self-isolate as advised by your local public health unit regardless of your test result. If you get tested within the first 6 days of your 14-day isolation period, get tested again on or after day 10 of your self-isolation. You should also get tested again at any time if you develop symptoms. Well, good luck with that. Getting tested is not a piece of cake. They're, supposedly the drugstores have the tests, but they're not selling them. You have to get an appointment and get tested. Okay, have traveled outside of Canada in the last 14 days. Continue to self-isolate after your return regardless of your test result. Unless you have an exemption, self-isolation, quarantine, and testing is required under Federal Quarantine Act. Have not had a known exposure and are ill, continue to self-isolate until you are feeling well. Have not had an exposure and you are well, continue physical distancing. If you develop symptoms, self-isolate. So it appears that you're contagious 48 hours. So if you've been in contact with somebody, well, there's 5 of you now. Hello, hello. Did you get to see my tipi and all that stuff? That was a pretty good... I don't ever have live video down there. And if I'm down there, my camera will die because it's cold. That was amazing to have it plugged in and inside the car. What to do if your test result is negative and you have not had a known exposure and are ill. Continue to self-isolate until you're feeling well. Have not had an exposure and you are well. Continue physical distancing. If you develop symptoms, self-isolate right away. Which takes 48 hours for your symptoms to show up. Or it could be like they don't want to test you until it's between 5 and 7 days later. Have not had an exposure and you're well. Have new or worsening symptoms. Self-isolate right away and refer to the Ministry of Health COVID-19 self-assessment tool for further direction. If your test is positive, they don't really tell you what to do if you have COVID. Like, there's all this stuff about how to not get COVID. What do you do if you get COVID? So you have to search all that out. I don't think it really matters if I test positive or not because I've been double vaccinated and I don't think it's going to be any worse than a cold. Anyway, but I have been vaccinated and the people that I hang around with, a lot of them have not been vaccinated. Have new or worsening... Oh, wait a minute. If your test is positive, continue to self-isolate for the time period advised by your local public health unit, which is all the stuff that's above, which comes from Public Health Ontario. Tell your household members to stay home and wait for further advice from the local public health unit. So if you're in the household where somebody tests positive, then after 48 hours, your symptoms will appear. And then after that, then you have to book an appointment, and so it'll be another, But you're supposed to, she said, if you test positive, your local health unit will contact you. You will be asked for information to help determine who you were in contact with while you may have been contagious or where you may have acquired COVID-19. That was page 1. Aren't you glad to be here getting to know all this important stuff? After a positive test, your public health unit will ask you about symptoms. what symptoms have you experienced, and what have been your symptoms over time? A list of COVID-19 symptoms is available on the Ontario Ministry of Health website. Places. Where have you been in the 14 days prior to when your symptoms started? Or if you don't, 14 days prior to my symptoms. Oh my gosh. Well, now I look back and I had this little tiny scratch in my throat, just a little. I sneezed once. Oh, I say that was on Saturday or Friday. And I had this little scratch in my throat on Sunday morning. I thought I could probably gonna get a cold or something. But I didn't think of it as anything important, and so I went to church. Because I didn't have a cold, I wasn't sick, I just had this one little scratch, just for a minute. Not all the time. So 14 days prior to when my symptoms started. So my symptoms, did they start on Sunday or Saturday? Sunday. Monday, I did not feel good. Tuesday, I didn't feel good. Wednesday, I felt better, but I had a little bit of butter, and so today I feel worse. Today I've got phlegm. See, dairy creates the phlegm. Your body doesn't have it without the dairy. You can't get a cold I just don't get colds that have any phlegm in them. Okay, so 14 days before I had it. So if I got sick on, say, Monday, so 2 weeks before that, I was in Vancouver. I was in Vancouver right up until Thursday, and we went to every single attraction. And there was one, that festival where there were people, and nobody was wearing, well, some were wearing masks, but most weren't, because I think if you're outside, you don't have to wear a mask. But anyway, I tried to wear a mask all the time, and sometimes it was a little loose under here, and so I would twist it backwards to make it. Where's my mask going? Oh, well, whatever. All right, let's move on. Places. Where have you been in the 14 days prior to when your symptoms started, or if you don't have symptoms, in the 14 days prior to the day you were tested? Make a list of places you have been and include the date, time, and address. So, on Thursday, I was at my son's, and we slept over there. On Wednesday, we were in the Toronto airport, or the Ottawa airport, and I'm going backwards, so the Ottawa airport, we were in a taxi, and I think we all sat in the back. We were in a taxi, and then we were in, before that we were in the airport at baggage claim, and we spoke to the person at the baggage claim, because my daughter-in-law lost something or didn't show up yet. So we're at the baggage claim guy, and then before that we were in the gate, and then we were in the tunnel, and then the airplane. And we sat in business class because it's supposed to be safer, and we waited until everybody was out of the plane before we left, so we didn't mix with them. But the plane is off at that time, and I don't know how much air ventilation is going on while the plane is getting emptied. And nobody's really socially distanced. Everybody is still smashed right up against each other, pulling their luggage, trying to get off and get their next flight. And then before that, in Toronto, at the Toronto airport, and we walked around a bit, but mostly we just went straight to the gate and sat. And before that, we were on the WestJet, which was this business class that had this beautiful wall around the whole, your chair is like a little cubicle. You've got a wall around the chair behind you, and then your seat lays flat or it sits up. Really good design, how they've done this. And then all these little tables around you, surfaces. Okay, so that was that. And then before that, we were in the Vancouver airport, waiting in many lineups, visiting with other people in the line. The line was snaking back and forth. It's possible our heads were 6 feet apart, but 6 feet is an adult laying down. If an adult laying down is between you, it's hard to hear the other person. And I don't think that there's just a rope between the line going this way and this way and this way. There's just a rope. And you're all the way up to the edge of the rope, and they're all the way up to the edge of their ropes, or in the middle. And the ropes are not, it's only about 4 feet wide or something in there. Anyway, there's no way you're socially distanced. So all those people in the line coming from wherever they were coming from in the Vancouver airport. And then before that, we were in our room. And the night before, so we took a taxi, right? We sat in the back. All sat in the back that day. And the day before, so what are we at now? So Thursday, Wednesday, so Tuesday, we went to the Festival of Lights Tuesday night. With all those people. That's probably where I was exposed. All these youth, people less than 30 years old, without masks in big groups. And before that, see, this is only important if Willem tests negative. Well, he may now, because he's been with me. That my son phoned from Vietnam. He's playing the piano. He wanted me to hear it, but I couldn't hear it because it's it doesn't come through very well on the videos. You can hear 1 or 2 notes out of, a couple notes a second or something. It doesn't show a music thing. I'm glad I wrote in my journal. I guess it doesn't really matter because all those people that went to the Festival of Lights, where have you been to 14 days before you were exposed? Anyway, my daughter said she had been to the grocery store, and they said, well, we're not going to contact people at the grocery store. We just contact tracing. There's too many people getting it. Like, I was in the parking lot, and there were about 5 other cars there of people waiting to get tested at 7:30 in the morning. They're trying to get all the testing done before they open the store. So does that mean they only have testing for a few hours in the morning and in the evening? I felt sorry for this girl wearing she's wearing a regular dress or an outfit, and she had on her blue PPE, personal protective equipment, and she had on a mask and a shield. And she was standing outside in this negative 20-degree weather, handing us our test stuff and telling us what to do. She had a tray, a stack of trays, or about 10 trays, I guess, with names in them. And if it weren't for her, I couldn't have gotten tested if she wasn't going to go to work today because it was too cold. Being tested is not really going to change my life. Whatever I've got, I've got. Or whatever I don't have, I don't have. But it will change whether I give it to other people. Especially those that are not vaccinated. And oh my gosh, there's so much misinformation out there. It's just lies, 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 everywhere you look. Anyway, I guess I should go because I am getting cold and I should go inside. It's nice to see you, though. I wonder who's here. 5 of you. And 4 thumbs up. So you've been here before because you know the drill. All right, so today I think I'm going to work on my weaving, on my loom. I'll bring you along on that. And I'm going to maybe I'll do some more tatting. I don't know. Oh, and I figured out the yarn I could use for mittens. I have this huge roll of yarn of wool that I've been making rugs out of. But, why make rugs out of it? I can make mittens out of it. It's a Zneezy day. Zneezy. If you look that up in Boulder Dash, that means very cold. I call it a frozen nose hair day. You breathe in, your nose hairs all freeze and you got all this stuff in your nose. And then you breathe out and they all thaw. Everything's good. You breathe in, it all freezes again. It's a frozen nose hair day. I'm so glad I went out. Boy, I don't feel good. My chest is feeling heavy. Shouldn't have eaten that butter. Now it has something to live on. Casein, or whatever it is in milk, it promotes growth. It's a growth promoter. So if you have something bad, and you have milk of any sort in any variety, it helps promote it. It helps it grow faster. Yay, look, there's cancer. Let's go have fun. In some ways, I trust the government and the health industry, and in some ways I don't. They want you to take these cholesterol pills every single day of your life, and there's only 1 in 300 chance that you will be the one that it actually worked for, that it actually made a difference and kept you from having a heart attack. But they really don't research absolutely everything that's going on out there, so it would be nice if they had the data was much more intricate, like exactly how good is your immune system. You know, I think there's a test you can do where you can see your immune system in your blood. Something's attacking something else. White blood cells attacking viruses or whatever's. But, so we don't really know what our base is. People say, oh, I don't need a vaccination. How good, what makes our immune system not good? What wrecks our immune system? I would say crap in the air, crap in the water, crap in the food. Not real crap. My father used to get me in trouble if I said crap. Oh, crap. Nancy, don't say that. It was like the S word, which I also don't say except when we're making a photograph and I say smile and say S, and everybody laughs because nobody's expecting that. Certainly not from me. I wouldn't say a word like that. Not likely. Anyway, so what wrecks your immune system? I would think it's because we eat so many foods that are bad, and the animals are nothing is natural. There's so much chemicals in everything, and not organically grown, and not in clean water and clean air, and all these conditions that are given to everything that we eat, and everything we breathe, and everything we drink, and everything that's absorbed through our skin, and the waters that we swim in, even the pool. I mean, chlorine in the pool. Remember when Trump thought you should drink chlorine to get rid of the virus? I wonder if swimming in a chlorinated pool, what effect that has on you. I mean, your skin certainly absorbs chlorine, absorbs whatever you're swimming in. I wonder if I tip you, will you fall over? Probably will, because you like to fall over. I could just slouch. That's what I'll do. So where were we? What were we talking about? Look at how long my hair's gotten. Should I cut off the last 2 inches? Why am I asking you? Everybody will have a different opinion. Yes, you should. So you go down to here, it's all the same. And then you get to here and it's thin. So I think those 2 inches should come off. But I keep taking 2 inches off. It never gets longer than this. Maybe I should leave it on and see if it will get longer than this. Maybe it never gets longer because I always cut it. Anyway, so if our immune systems are impacted by all this stuff, then what about people who are not impacted by this stuff? People who have always eaten organic food, who there are no chemicals in any of the animals. The water is is probably stream water, or there's not a lot of pollution. There's no acid rain. Like if you think about the days of the bubonic plague, I'm going to research that. I'm going to look into that more. So during the days of the bubonic plague, how were the conditions? I mean, this was carried by rats, and it was in Europe, and it was the Dark Ages, which to me make me think it was all dark, but it wasn't dark. It had beautiful sunshine, just like we do. But in places, I mean, they did throw the chamber pots. They empty the chamber pots out the window. I mean, there was a bunch of unsanitariness. But the food they ate was all organic. They hadn't created all that stuff. And the air they breathed. Hi, Temmie Lamoureux. Nice to see you and everyone else. There's 6 of us together now. And 6 thumbs up. Look at that. This is a COVID test one. I started with my COVID test, getting tested, and then I was reading you stuff. I never finished reading it. Should I finish reading it? So places. Where have you been in the 14 days prior to when your symptoms started? Or if you don't have symptoms, in the 14 days prior to the day you were tested. Make a list of places you have been and include the date, time, and address. Well, I was traveling in Vancouver, so that's a lot of stuff. Examples include travel, workplace, school, childcare, camp, places you may have stayed, rooming house, hotel, etc. Oh my gosh! Are you serious? It was bubonic plague is in Brazil last year? Well, it'd be interesting to find out. There's so much misinformation out there that, you do some research on stuff and you don't know where it's coming from, anyway, there's all this stuff. And, people can say anything and put it on the internet and write an article about it and get more followers because, anti-vax is the new cool. Anyway, so contacts. Who were less than 2 meters apart from you within the 48 hours before you started feeling ill, or if you don't have symptoms in the 48 hours before you were tested. Make a list of names, phone numbers, and dates and times of all contact with anyone. So I went to church, and people tried to hug me, and I backed up, and I tried to keep 6 feet between me and everybody, but it was probably, I think somebody wanted to do the elbow thing, and that's not 6 feet apart, and she did the fist thing, so what's that? Maybe it's 6 feet apart. Anyway, I tried to stay away from people, but there are a few people. Usually I go out and sit in the car as soon as it's over, but I didn't. I sat inside, and I visited with people, so they are exposed. If I'm positive, which I won't even know for another 2 days. Lives in your home, works in the same place, goes to the same school or childcare location, you had contact within 2 meters apart for longer than a brief time, i.e. had a chat. Walking by someone who is not considered a close contact. By identifying where you have been and who you are physically close to, you can help to contain the spread of the virus in your community. This is called contact tracing. For more additional resources, for more information about how to self-isolate, physical distancing, and self-monitoring, visit Public Health Ontario's COVID-19 multilingual resources. Oh, so what I was saying about the bubonic plague is that during the time when they had the bubonic plague, their immune systems should have been totally amazing, right? They ate organic food all the time, never had a single chemical in their body didn't have makeup full of chemicals, and they say that the average person is in contact with 300 chemicals a day. Or is it more than that? But their furniture was not made out of, I don't know if they had lead paint back then, but I think they would whitewash, milk and water or something to make paint. How do you make whitewash? That's a good use for milk. You should go back to using milk for that. It's not really good for consumption. It's not a good idea. Anyway, and yet the bubonic plague killed millions. millions. They had pure air. They had pure water, unless it was polluted, which it could have been. And they had organic food. They had no chemicals in anything that touched their body. They didn't have plastic, so plastic is absorbed through the skin. You know, everything you touch is absorbed through your skin. So if you touch plastic a million times a day, everything you touch is plastic. Anyway, but they didn't have any of that. So theoretically, their immune system should have been right up there, top notch. They would be working on the farm. Most people were farmers, weren't they, back then? Outdoor, fresh air. Rain was clean. They could drink rainwater. You know, they would wash. I don't know if they washed their clothes in the stream. I'm not so sure about the cleanliness of the streams back in the Victorian era. But anyway, so this plague just wiped through, and people today are saying, my immune system will handle it. I don't need it. So they will call me if I'm positive. The health unit will call with 48 hours. And I'm not sure how long. This probably has to grow in a petri dish, and if it grows and they see the little red spiky balls, then I have COVID. If I don't, then I will just be fine. I just have a cold from changing climates. Negative 18 out here now, negative 19. The information in this document is current as of March 25th, 2021. For more information, please comment blank. You got notified by text message. So did you have COVID? And how do you feel? And what were your symptoms? My chest is really starting to feel it. I seem to be coming down with something today. It's because I ate butter last night. Silly, silly, silly. You got it from a child's friend. Oh, and how is the child? Children, how are they faring? I hear all these stories about long COVID, and that's the worst, is long COVID. If the COVID does, you felt like you had a cold. So did you have like Omicron, this was recently? Or have you been vaccinated? I find that people that have a booster, they're not even getting symptoms. Like Willem I think he had a scratch in his throat and a little postnasal drip a couple times. Oh, I'm glad the child is fine. And you? Are you in the middle of it now? Is this recently? The sun is up. Oh, sunrise, she come in the morning. Sunrise, she come in the morning, spreading all her skirts all around. Sunrise, she come with the dawning. Sunrise, she come with the dawning. Lighting up the ground all around. So I'm waiting for you to tell me about your symptoms and everything. I'm now interested in that. But I don't think that, why did the bubonic plague spread so badly in a very pristine environment? You got pneumonia, sepsis, and diarrhea was that from COVID? Goodness, sepsis. How'd you get sepsis? Yeah, my whole body is feeling like my stomach and my intestines and the whole thing. I'm starting to feel it. Oh, could it be psychosomatic? I'm just pretty sure it's going to come back negative, and if it does come back positive, I'm going to be like really shocked that it was actually positive. Boy, the virus has changed a lot since the beginning. Well, you had it? In the beginning, if you got it, you'll probably die. Or you might not, but a lot of people died. Coronavirus. But now that we've got vaccines and a booster, we are so much better off. And the hospitals are filling up with only people that are not vaccinated, and these healthcare workers are so frustrated. I met the vice president of a hospital in the hot tub in Vancouver, and she said that her hospital is pretty full all the time of unvaccinated people. And that's it. That's all she's seeing. It's unvaccinated. She's in a hotel in Victoria, BC. And she didn't lie to me. She didn't make it up. Like, she came because she really needed a rest. She's worked 8 months, 7 days a week for 8 months, and she was pretty burned out. And the reason I just got a tweet for something or other, hitting the road or the airport. It's kind of a nice thing not to have to do Christmas. Christmas is a lot of work. But my house is clean. Oh, I really wrenched my back cleaning it. People back in the time of, I looked at the sun and now all I can see is a white spots. People back in the time of Black Plague, people were not clean, didn't wash clothes, their houses, and themselves. Yes, but washing ourselves and like the physical body is not. Well, I don't know. Yeah, washing your hands, if you would spread it a lot more if you didn't wash your hands. But the idea that not being washed makes you sick, I don't think that's true. I think that, like when you had a baby, if you give them a bath every day, then they ended up with cradle cap, like flaky skin in their hair, and the natural oils of their body were good for them. So there must be a lot of research on why the Black Plague went through. So theoretically, if everything else in their environment was clean, their immune systems would be good. And the more you're exposed to germs, the better your immune system is. I mean, if you didn't wash your body and everybody that didn't wash their body was sick and died, there wouldn't be very many of that. The Darwin Award being what it is. But if you always sterilize everything in your world, like all these 99% antibacterial things, people wipe their counters with it all the time. Now, those are the people that I think would not be able to tolerate bacteria. So if you were around somebody that didn't wash and you lived in an environment that was sterile, your body would not be used to those and you would get sick. But if you are used to them, you don't get sick. It's our day and age of perfectly sterile environments. Anyway, I'm curious. Wash at least once a week. My father used to say, well, my shampoo. I have a shampoo every 6 months, whether I need it or not. I don't know. I don't think that was true. But even when I came to Canada 40 years ago, like it wasn't this way in the States, but Canada was much less progressive or developed or whatever. Like people when they were my age, when they were young, didn't have telephones or maybe not electricity or always had the outhouse. And so I was in Georgia and I had all those things. Of course, I was a privileged white person, so I would have had whatever was out there, but it doesn't mean that everybody in Georgia did or everywhere. But oh, someone said something. not clean, wash their clothes, their houses, and themselves. Yeah, so when I came here, people would bathe once a week. They'd take their weekly bath, and the cleanest person would go first. And then, it's like when you washed your dishes, you would start with the glasses, and the cleanest things would be washed first. And by the time you got to the pots and pans, the water was already pretty dirty. But I think that's the same with the bath water. And they just had one big container of water, and they just went through, the whole family used that. But the soap then was also good soap. It was made out of tallow, beef fat or some animal fat, and homemade lye from ashes. It was good soap. I mean, they talk about grandma's lye soap and how it would take your skin off. Of course, that was because it was too strong. You can see the sun is up. It's shining in my face. I should go inside, but I don't feel like moving. I feel sort of sick. You have to wait till you have symptoms before you can even get tested. So if I've been waiting for my symptoms to get as bad as they're getting now, and I wouldn't be getting tested for 2 more days, 3 more days. I had faint symptoms. They were very faint compared to what I figured I should have, but I'd been vaccinated twice, so I was imagining maybe I wouldn't have such. But you never know. Like, I could still go get positive and then go to the hospital and die. I may be meeting my maker by this time next month. Wow. Wouldn't that be cool? The next great adventure. Oh, you were getting ready for surgery. And you didn't have symptoms at the time, eh? Or you must have had something, or maybe not. Glad they did your surgery. Well, they must not have done it if you had COVID. No, stay home, not hospital. So you stayed in your house. I have my snowshoes hanging on the doors. I have 3 sets of snowshoes. I used to see houses where they had snowshoes on the outside of the doors. I thought, oh, that's such a nice decoration. But then when I had snowshoes and I didn't know where to put them, I could stack them on a corner or something. I thought, I'll just hang them on the wall. Didn't have any symptoms, but you had COVID. Had you been vaccinated? I'm very opinionated for somebody that really doesn't know a lot of things. But they say do your research, and that's sort of a catchphrase for the QAnon folks, And to me, it seems like they've just planted all these stories. 7/30/21. January, February, March, April, May, June, July 30th, 21. Does the yes go with you had your surgery? There is a problem with doing these videos because I do all the talking. Now, if we had a Zoom going on, you guys do the talking. How would that work? Could we do that? Christmas Eve is tomorrow, according to my calendar. Ha ha ha, not for me. But I like all the Christmas music. I love Christmas hymns. And I like the one about it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere I go. I did not get surgery yet. Yeah. That's the hardest thing about this. Is that the health system needs to be double the size. What are we doing on Christmas Day? I don't know. Probably coughing a lot. We're not going anywhere, and nobody can come over. A live chat. Well, that's what this is, right? How's that different? Like, there's something on Facebook, too, but I think it's the same as this, where you have to write in your comments. And you guys don't really get equal time, right? It gets to be Nancy, 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 Nancy. you know, for people that are old that like to talk a lot, this is a perfect place to do it. To just make your own YouTube channel, and then you can just rattle on about everything in your pretty little head. Pretty little head. Is that a southern phrase? My windows are starting to ice up here. I guess I should go inside. As soon as I go outside, you'll have to be gone. So let's gather things up. You tested for COVID-19. What you should know. Boy, it was hard work to get a test. Oopsie, that was you. Jumping on your head. Okay, I'll unplug now. I shall put my hat back on. You were thinking of doing exactly what? Having a FaceTime live chat? See, it's hard to not have the whole information. Okay, so shall we turn this around? All right. As we limp our way into a channel. Yes, a channel. That's a good idea. Then you have a place where you can just talk. Okay, let's get unconnected here. And out we go. Oh, listen to that crunchy snow. Oops. Look at this, it's like little balls. That's snow pellets, right? And in between, that's frost. It's pretty cold out here. I find that that fake Crocs are the best. What a mess. How can people live like this? Such a mess. Let's go around and make some sound on the snow. That was the deck. Got that one out of there, but now I have more things to finish up. I could go back in there and go to bed. I'm playing with fleece this year. It's a lot colder in here. Good morning, dear. It's not very dense there for them. Oh, is it ever cold over here? Oh my gosh. I have such a big house now. Such an awesome place. Look, we took the trampoline out. We dragged it up there. We used pulleys. Oh, there's the moon. It's a moony day. A moony day and a sunny day. And it sure is cold on my nose. I gotta cut this to make it fit properly. This deck really keeps on going, doesn't it? Animals. The cat has been up and down there. I wonder where the cat lives. Maybe in the hobbit hole. Swiss chard. I rescued you. Haha. Want to go jumping on the trampoline? All right, here we go. Chickadee-dee-dee, do you have any? You want me to open this up a better for you? You can get to the things there. Hi guys. So much warmer in here. That's all the Christmas stuff I didn't pack yet or didn't wrap yet. Today I'll wrap Christmas presents. That would be a Christmassy sort of thing to do. And if Willem's test comes back negative, he could deliver them. Oh, is this still cooking in here? I think this is those grapes. Good. Yes, indeed. We have some work to do here, don't we? I have to water all my plants again. Not supposed to die. Started making birch bark stuff. I'm gonna make a canister with this one and a bit of that. I'm gonna make some books with this and this. That's for you to sit in. And then I started with this. I cut this out. I'm gonna cut one of these out, then put it on here. So it'll end up a piece of birch bark in the shape of an animal on there. And these I was going to turn into things for the Christmas tree, which we still don't have, which is under the deck. But look, I cleaned off the top of the piano. Isn't that nice? It was cleaner than it looks now. Hey, you want to see the loom? I'll close the door for my sweetheart. See? This is going to be my ties. If I want to do it like that, I probably have to cut them. Ha, I got it on. Unbelievable. Been a long time coming. See, in this thing of yarn, I thought, well, I could use this to make mittens. It's a big spool. It's pretty cold in the house, too. All right, I think I gotta go. Nature calls. You can't come. Bye.